Welcome all of you, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Saturday, 3rd May, 11:05. We are starting the first national debate, national discussion, I would say, on NBC 2025 Part 4, which is Fire and Life Safety. So, good morning to all the distinguished panelists, participants, professionals, and stakeholders joining us from across the country. It is truly a momentous occasion, and I'm honored to welcome you for this important national webinar on National Building Code 2025 Part 4, Fire and Life Safety. For the very first time, the Bureau of Indian Standard has opened the draft of NBC Part 4 for public consultation and comments before finalization. A critical and unprecedented opportunity for all professionals like us to shape the very foundation of fire safety and resilience in India's built environment. Today's session is not just a webinar, it's a national dialogue where your insight, suggestions, and technical feedback can directly influence the standards that govern life safety in buildings, infrastructure, and public places. So we are privileged to have with us the chairman of National Building Code 2025 and the experts who are involved in preparing National Building Code 2025 draft. Together, they will walk with us through the major changes in the draft, highlights key areas for inputs, and set the tone for responsible and inclusive code making. Following the panel discussion, we will open the floor for your questions and suggestions, which are very important voice for today's webinar. I would like to request those who would like to put the question has to be pertain to today's topic, which is Part 4 draft copy. If you have gone through the draft, please pick up. We will take up questions only that those are matter to today's discussion. I hope today's discussion will be very constructive and the feedback will be very positive for better code. So let us make this constructive, technical, and forward-looking discussion one that ensures fire resilience has become national priority. And this whole recording will be available. And the key points that we'll discuss also will go to National Building Code, and they will take up your points. So I would like to introduce, today's discussion happened because of three major associations in the country, who are come together to discuss this point. I would like to introduce the FSIF, the Fire Safe India Foundation, which is a not-profit advocacy group working for India free from fire hazards. They aim to establish fire safety culture that is based on individual care, knowledge, and techniques, and available technology for prevention and control of fire incident. FSIF is an organization built on the foundation of passion, expansive knowledge of fire prevention method and technology, and vast experience in the field. Today, FSI is represented by Deshmukh, the chairman of FSI. He will be joining, he is already joined today. He is one of the panelists for this program. About NFE, a group of passionate electrical engineering professionals, that's the only association for electrical engineers working in the field of electrical safety. Members of decade of experience in working with electrical inspectorates of the state and the central government, electrical designers, safety officers, engineers in the field of quality and standard. I'm sure everybody heard about Focus is the only forum or a platform in India, possibly in the world, addressing the holistic need for all critical utility services together. To bring together under unified forum the heads of various disciplines covering aspects like plumbing, designing, construction, maintenance, and operation in a modern built environment. That is focus for all of you. So myself, Dominic, I've been in the industry for 35 years in the fire, passionately working towards life safety and security. So I would like to introduce our chairman of National Building Code 2025, with so much of, before most of us not born, so he's already involved in the industry. He has over 57 years of experience. He's a civil engineer from Anna University. Is passionate and work towards housing, urban development, infrastructure, and real estate sector and sustainable development. His profile is more than 10 pages. So he is a well-known face in the built environment. So I don't need to go through the entire profile. So I cut short that. We have another panelist who is also chairman of FSIF. He's been in the NBC in most of it. We have almost four NBC code which is released. Is involved in that. He's the architect of the Maharashtra Fire Act, the first Fire Act in India which is introduced. Is a very passionate person, is a motivational speaker, and we are so happy to have him today. And I'm sure he's going to add a lot of value for today's discussion. And our third panelist, Mr. Gopakumar, once again, well-known face when it comes to electrical safety, traveling length and breadth, Bharat Yatra, all kind of yatra he's been doing. The man with suitcase, he doesn't sleep in the house. I think he just, knowing him, I think he travels 300 days and the remaining days only is at home. So welcome you, sir. And I'm sure you're going to add a lot of value. How, if you've seen yesterday's fire in INA market or the market in Delhi, there was a huge fire. The crores of rupees destroyed. The reason that they're saying electrical short circuit. So most of the fire, I have a huge data on how many fires, what happened. But electrical the short circuit is a cause of fire. So we are talking about NBC Part IV on fire and life safety. This Part 8 of electrical so much involved in making the building more safer. I'm sure you're going to add a lot of value of this, new NBC going to come up and how safe the building, we're talking about fire resilient building, how you will add up to this. So I would like to unshare the screen and I would like to welcome the chairman of National Building Code, Mr. V. Suresh. He'll be given 15 minutes to address. I would like to know what are the new, new silent features of 2025 National Building Code. Sir, over to you for next 15 minutes. I would like to address the gathering today. Over to you, Mr. Suresh.
Thank you very much, Dominic, and a very happy good morning to my fellow panelists, in particular MB Deshmukh Saab and Mr. S. Gokumar, who are very closely associated with the National Building Code work for not only the Part 4 on fire protection, but also Part 8, Section 2 on electrical installation. And why electrical installation is an important topic, because large number of fires that take place, we always put it on the electrical short circuit being the cause for the fire, whatever it may be. So how we'll be able to work together is an important one. I'll take maybe half a minute to introduce, and we are very happy that after the 2016 version of the National Building Code, which is the fourth version after 70, 83, 2005, 2016 version has been in use for the last 9 years. So many changes have happened in the built environment, and therefore to capture all that, the work on the 2025 version of the National Building Code got started, and we have the main committee of the BIS on NBC with 23 expert panels to deal with each of the 12 parts and 21 sections. So totally 33 documents are involved in the National Building Code. To deal with these 33 documents, 23 expert panels are gone with over 1,300 expert members from all over the country, the best possibly in the country, on these subjects there. They worked on it. They worked on the preliminary draft, discussed in detail, and they have brought it to a shape which can now go into wide circulation. And I'm very happy when I'm talking to you today on the 3rd of May. The last of the document was the electrical installation document, which got brought out yesterday night. So fire came about 2 weeks back. So therefore, 31 documents are already gone into wide circulation. Today, the whole country knows what is the shape of the National Building Code 2025 version is through the contents of each one of the parts and sections there. And you will therefore know how this document, which will be relevant for the next 10-15 years time period as the National Building Code 2025 will be able to deal with the type of development needs for the country, not only in terms of the intensity of development, the high-rise development, mixed-use development, and the way in which small, medium town also going to catch up, and also areas of industrial sector growth, etc., all are captured in this beautiful document. Today's meeting, as Dominic rightly said, is going to concentrate on the provisions of Part 4, Fire and Life Safety. A very important document. This is a piece of document that will be very, very necessary for all the state fire services, whether at the level of state level fire service department, or in certain cases where chief fire officers of fire departments, sometimes in local bodies they are there, sometimes in state are there, and also in various undertakings where the fire people, the civil aviation department, petroleum department, various departments, fire people are there in a very large way. So all the state governments look to this document as an important one. As Dominic introduced, it was Deshmukh Saab who really brought the fire safety legislative document from the Maharashtra state, which has become a pioneering document. Based on it, all states have also brought their own document to make the fire safety and life safety and fire protection as an integrated component in a large way, and with the right level of requirements and regulations to be brought in. And normally the provisions of the National Building Code of India is taken as a good basis by each one of the state over there. I had the opportunity of making a presentation with the Standing Fire Advisory Committee of the Government of India under the Ministry of Home Affairs, where all the state fire chiefs were present about 2 weeks back in Hyderabad. And I'm extremely happy to know they're all eagerly looking forward to see the contents of the National Building Code of India 2025 version for their own fire regulations be upgraded and in line with the latest provisions, and also the new challenges and other areas which are not covered earlier, how this has now been incorporated in this particular document. Therefore, I look at this particular version of the National Building Code a very, very important step over there. To me, a personal level, have been associated not only with the first version of 70 version and 83 when I was in the Bureau of Indian Standard, then subsequently as Vice Chairman for the 2005 and 2016 version, and now the 2025 version as the Chairman of the National Building Code. It's a great association of continuity over the last 60 years time period. It has undergone phenomenal change. India itself has got phenomenal changes from what level it was in 1970 to what level we are in 2025 in terms of our demographic growth, intensity of development, the type of needs that for all buildings over there. We thought at one point of a 13-story building was a big thing, but today we have as much of any number of buildings of 60, 70, 80, 100 stories building, mixed use occupancies coming for various nature, and how do you deal with that is an important one. So therefore, having told a brief one, let me get on to the Part 4 aspects into a very detailed manner. Part 4, fire and life safety, is as the topic itself indicates, identifies all the larger requirements of fire protection through the fire safety aspects and the life safety aspects independently covered over there. And therefore, the provisions that is required from the point of view of the life safety aspects have been covered in a very comprehensive manner. Detailed requirements of fire exits, egress and escape has been identified. Fire exit staircases, including occupant load factors from the earlier version, has been now harmonized and streamlined. And more importantly, the provisions of fire safety for mixed occupancies, because that's coming very, very much in a large way within the same building. How do you deal with that particular thing and providing the right level of compartmentation, and how do you define the one major occupancy and the subsidiary occupancy to deal with that, have been brought in a very large nature. We also brought in the fire resistance rating for all elements, being columns or beams or slabs, and both structural and non-structural and finishing item in a very comprehensive manner, especially those rooms which are having larger story heights. How will you deal with that particular thing? That's also happening in some of the occupancies. We have tried to indicate, especially over 21, 22 feet height story. How do you do the fire resistance rating for roofs has been brought in a very large way. Occupant load factors, which is an important component for designing all your exits and egress requirement, have been elaborated, and most of our assembly occupancy, previously one value was there. We have broken that into various aspects within the assembly occupancy. How do you deal with that depending upon the nature of spaces required for that particular one and with respect to net or gross floor area. And this is a very, very important component which is added in clause 4. And more importantly, the fire detection and the suppression system for all. We had one table 7, one document was there. And I'm extremely happy to indicate that we have been able to get that table opened up into 7A, 7B, 7C, up to 7J, covering residential building, educational building, institutional building, including hospitals, assembly building, business building, mercantile building, industrial building, storage building, and hazardous building. And I'm very happy to indicate that detailed provisions in terms of the educational buildings and hospital buildings have been covered in a very large way in terms of the type of requirements there. And assembly buildings, as I said, sub-classifications are come in this particular area. Industry is a very major area. I would look forward to Deshmukh Saab opening out a little more, because this is an area where it was a felt need. We were a little weak on the 2016 version, but we are really broken that into now in detail, where low hazard, moderate hazard, and high hazard requirements and also the amount of space that's required for the occupancy and the intensity of hazard and the type of fire safety requirements of the industrial building have been opened out into a very, very large manner. And I think you'll be very, very happy to see when you go into that. Previously, that one omnibus table was leading to a lot of confusion. Now we have broken that into a very detailed manner. We'll be very happy to receive comments on that particular one. The document that is already a 236-page document is already gone in wide circulation. Please give your valuable views on that particular things on these areas as well. Equally important is the issues related to the supplementary protection for specific areas and hazards. Depending upon the occupancies that are there, we identified in detail those particular specific requirements as well. Of course, one of the areas in terms of the commercial kitchen is a very major coming not only in commercial building but also in restaurants. Another one, cost for fire, the guidelines for the particular thing have been added. Water curtain requirement for basement and waterproofing requirement has been opened out into a very large way. We have specific requirements in terms of high-rise building. High-rise is a very major thrust area everybody is looking for. Are you talking in terms of a 10-story building, 20-story building, 30-story? We are reasonably okay with the 2016 version. But when you go that beyond 40-story or 50 stories or 60 or 70 stories, now even 100 stories building are coming. Therefore, depending on the height of building, the fire safety requirements have been, fire and life safety requirements have been added in a very large manner. Especially the atrium. Atrium is a space which comes in large number of not only malls, but a retail area, hotel buildings, etc., where you'll have occupancies coming on both sides. The central atrium will be an open area. How do you deal with that in a large way? Data centers is another particular area which required specific guidelines and information. And I'm extremely happy that we have been able to add that into a very large way. These are days where car parking and facilities are important, because fire can also take place in car parking areas, either in the basement 1 or basement 2 or upper floors that's coming over there. And therefore, specific requirements of car parking has been added, in particular e-vehicle. E-vehicle is coming for the first time. National Building Code has given provision what percentage of the total vehicle has got to be the e-vehicle in all buildings there, residential or commercial or business building, another hotel or hospital building. And therefore, where will you take out the charging points? Because the electrical issues will come in that particular context there. And only up to one basement e-vehicle can come over there, not the other basements there. So these are very specific requirements that have been added, especially when e-vehicles are going to be coming, including the multi-level car parking and mechanical car parking, mechanized car parking. Those particular things also provision have been added, because our chapter on lifts and escalators, Part 8, Section 5, have brought that provision there. The fire safety issues have been brought into Part 4 in a very large way. Railway stations and metro stations are a very major one, where people do assemble a large congregation. So those requirements have been added into a very, very large way. I just thought that's an important component we should work on. And equally important is we have added for the first time, the performance-based design. We know the limitations of that. We know the strength of that. But for that strength to be applied for doing the design, not on prescriptive method or specification-based method or performance-based one, you require large number of supporting team and logistics to deal with that. That performance-based design, there are people to interpret that, evaluate that, and give the right. So we are trying to put that particular thing in where all we can make it applicable. And I'm
Okay,
equally important is
sir, you have 2 more minutes to go. So
that's good enough. And two more important areas which I have to tell is, for the first time, administrative provisions for the fire. Any building permit that's given, NOC from the fire authority is an important component. In Part 2 administration of the National Building Code, provisions of Part 4 has been incorporated for getting the NOC there. And more importantly, I'm extremely happy that the professionals, the fire professionals, qualifications have been added for the first time. NBC did not have it either in the 70, 83 or 2005 or 2016 version. It was a call for the industry, and that has been added, especially for those who prepare the particular one, including fire audit. We also brought in the issues of the fire safety as well as fire audit, as well as electrical audit we brought in, including periodical renewal to be brought in over there for buildings beyond a certain height and all that. That's an administrative, techno-legal requirement, but that comes into the Part 2. And equally important is the Part 12 on assets and facility management. Once the building is completed, you have received an occupancy certificate for that, from including NOC from fire authorities. That's when building is occupied as a residence or a hotel or a hospital or an office, whatever. What happens to that? So is the system working? So assets and facility management Part 12 has gone in detail on especially all the firefighting one. Is a sprinkler working, wet riser, dry riser, detectors, all the alarm system, the water storage required, etc., are all to be checked. Like that, air conditioning system, electrical installation system, all will have to be checked. So that particular chapter gives a very important thing on building performance to be evaluated on a continuing basis by the assets and facility management team, and fire protection aspects also been brought in over there. Since the time has been allotted by Dominic, I don't want to take more than that. He said 2 minutes. I'm ending before that. But you'll have a lot of opportunity to come back to talk after hearing from my other fellow panelists. I stop at this point of time. An exciting document, Part 4 Fire Protection National Building Code, along with the remaining 32 documents of, as I said, 12 parts and 21 sections there. It'll add value to that. There are so many clauses which are linked between the provisions of the NBC Part 4 and the other document, including structural design one, electrical installation one, lifts and air conditioning chapter, lift installation chapter, plumbing services, gas supply, etc. is also there. I didn't have time to open out. We'll open out when it comes out over there. Thank you, Dominic.
thank you, sir, for enlightening the major changes that is going to be there in 2025. Thank you so much, and I'm sure you will have many questions from the audience to answer. Before that, I will ask our second panelist, Mr. Deshmukh, who is an architect of, as I said, Maharashtra Fire Act, and deeply involved in drafting the NBC Part 4. So I would like to give an opportunity to give an opening remark. So what do you, sir? Sir, over to Deshmukh, sir.
Yes,
Can you unmute, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Dominic, for such a nice introduction. I think Mr. V. Suresh, the chairman of the National Building Code, has in 15 minutes. There are reverse records and the forward records. There are some cricket players, they make in 36 balls 1 century. And Suresh sir, to cover such a vast topic in 15 minutes, that must be probably one of the records in his career, which I am associated with him. Thank you, Suresh sir, for being very elaborate but very concise today. And I am sure the audience must have sustained the AK-47 till now, but I will just run my LMG. So don't worry, it will not be too heavy dose for anyone. Since the whole canvas is painted, I will highlight few issues because it's such a big document. This time the structure of for preparation of this document, the BIS thought very wisely that there should be one drafting committee or drafting group, and there should be one advisory group. So I had an opportunity to be the convener of the drafting committee. And we did a lot of work. We conducted virtual and physical, maybe more than about 25 meetings to cull out the document. We have taken into consideration all the suggestions and recommendations that were received on the 2016 document. And beyond that, we have taken into consideration the operational requirements, the operational difficulties of the operational fire officers vis-a-vis the prospective challenges that the operational community as well as the occupants and the design consultants that those might face. So taking into consideration, first of all, we made an attempt to change the scope of this document, that 1.2. But unfortunately, in the published document, that scope remains as it is, like 2016. But people may comment and say, are we going to leave the even residential building below 15 meters as absolutely uncharted and without any requirements? Because there's a Delhi Fire Service has done research and they have proved that the even low-rise buildings are also equally dangerous as far as the fire safety is concerned. Then second thing, that the marginal open space that we have proposed, 6 meters for the buildings above 60 meters, and buildings above 60, sorry, up to 60 meters, and above 60 meters, 9 meters with a proper turning radius. There also, that probably has not come into the new document, but it is in our original draft, and maybe the audience sitting here and the people those who want to comment, they can comment on that. Because reverse forward of the fire trucks is not possible with my whatever number of operational experience. And V. Suresh was kind enough in one of the joint meetings to adhere to or to withhold the recommendation of the drafting group. So this is one major change which is I would like to highlight. Then another one good thing that we have got into this code is the MSMO pumps, all the test reports of the national international labs, they are found to be not adequate or they are not proper for firefighting operations. They could be good enough for the utility water purpose. So there we have brought a change and we have proposed a staging system like the international communities and international fire society and all that. And we have started that already in Maharashtra. We got the notification for that. And this 60-meter staging of the pumping, and that too we have given now. Actually, we wanted to go for the gravity base, but then there was a suggestion that this is the first time we are doing some change, so we should go for an alternative of gravity fed system, because Delhi already, the then fire chief of Delhi, Mr. Derry, had already done this kind of exercise, and it is found to be very, very useful, more reliable as compared to the pumping system. But that is what we are trying to introduce, the gravity fed water suppression system for hydrant, sprinklers, and the other water-based systems. In the occupancies, I would like to highlight that the data centers or the data processing activities were not were left to be considered. So we were presently considering, because there is no occupancy defined, so we are considering those as business buildings. But the data centers have these specific requirements. There was a lot of brainstorming. We had a guidance from Mr. V. Suresh also. We had a guidance from the MITI also, that the Ministry of Electronic Telecommunication. On the basis of that data center, we are added as one more occupancy in the hospitals. There was a hue and cry, because even after the Fire Act of Maharashtra also, a lot of hospitals were heavily coming on us, and even the daycare units, hospitals of 30 beds, 60 beds, they were bogged down with such a heavy doses and the heavy requirements. So I said that will go inhuman, and we need hospitals. They are also life saviors of the society, and there is already a deficiency of the number of hospitals required per capita and the hospitals available. There's a huge gap, like our fire service. So we have done some work on that. Then the CFD analysis, taking into consideration the CFD analysis, the overall smoke management system, and the smoke management, another HVAC committee has also worked on that. But we have given a little emphasis on the base of the CFD analysis. If the travel distance can be given, more travel distance can be considered. For example, say a warehouse having, say, the 20-meter height, and there the smoke is liberated or generated, that smoke to form that plume and then to settle down to the low level, there will be enough time available for the evacuation of the people within that warehouse. Taking that as a logic, we have extended the travel distance areas. We are given more emphasis to the detection system as compared to the sprinkler system. But anyway, since radical changes we do not want it to bring, we have controlled our aspirations. But if there is a detection system, the detector buzz, smoke detector, fire alarm is there, people are likely to get evacuate the building faster. The sprinkler is a fire protection system. So it is going to operate for extinguishing the fire. So smoke detector is a big life savior. We have tried to give some emphasis on that. Then the occupant load factor, which Suresh sir said, there is still a confusion about the gross and net. So working out of a net, there's a challenge that whether the staircase I should eliminate, whether a particular washrooms I should eliminate, or particular areas dead ducts I should eliminate. But it is very difficult for the consultants and the design engineers to calculate the actual occupant load. And still we have recommended that we should go for the gross, make it simple so that. But anyway, work is going on that also. Uh, Second thing is, as I told you, the refuge area, that this has been a little controversial issue this time. Suresh sir was very strong in one of the joint committee meeting. He being the head of the whole NBC and also seen very active in the part 4 also. I'm really grateful to him that a refuge area has to be there for the even residential buildings, which is practice, which is acceptable to the society at large, and we should not get away with it. But unfortunately, in the draft, the alternative is given that in the fire shaft, we will keep on each floor two persons space for the as a refuge area. I don't know how much it is practical, but anyway, comments are solicited from all the members and also the final advice from Suresh sir as well. Then the basement, it is very impracticable to provide the water curtains in the basements or the fire curtain in the basement areas. So we have seen even in Dubai, any city, international city, if you go, they do not provide any water, any barrier, maybe in the water curtain or the your fiber made fire curtain or smoke control curtain. So we have said that if the sprinklers are there, good enough. We don't want any barriers. Then we are trying to give the separate area for the EV cars, but it is a bit challenge because every city will have their own regulation. But finally, we said that we as a sacrosanct document preparators, we should say that yes, we should have the segregated area for the EV cars because there are a lot of amenities, infrastructure required for that. So you can't go and intermingle with the other cars. Now, these are the few major changes we could bring in. Some of those I may be missing now, but now more and more comments from the audience, more and more comments from the design consultants, fire officers. One more point that I wanted to say in a lighter vein here, even the qualifications prescribed in the administration chapter of the fire professionals, there itself, as per those prescriptions, even I become a non-qualified person today sitting in front of you all. But I told Suresh sir and he said, you please send a reply to that and we will amend it accordingly. Because the country is producing the fire engineers and also the advanced diploma holders in big number. Quality of education is a challenge in all the spheres, in all the engineering branches. Quality of education is day by day is big challenging thing. So I do not want it to be a political or non-political statement. But considering the fact that this is the particular species that has been produced by the National College, which is under the Ministry of Home Affairs, and this qualification is awarded, if these fellows are considered as a not fitting into the qualification prescribed in the part 2, then I think country will starve of the required professionals. So that is also I would like to say, if anybody still has some comments or any specific requirements on the qualifications in the part 2, the administration chapter, that they can consider about it. And there are many other things that I am requesting all of you to go through the draft which is under wide circulation. And if there are any suggestions or objections, we will take the cognizance, and mandate given to this committee is that even any suggestions, objections those are received, those are also to be dealt by us and submitted to the advisory group. So we will be working on that. I once again thanks Suresh sir for giving me an opportunity to be the appropriate person. Though I am so outspoken and so straightforward, such people are generally not wanted in the society. But he was kind enough to consider me, and we are trying to give as best justice what we could give. And finally, we will get the NBC 2025. I thanks to Dominic also for taking this initiative of at least starting the ice breaking of this topic, the new document which is under publication. And Gopakumar will, of course, touch upon the electrical. We said that we are not electrical experts as a fire professionals or the fire design engineers. So we have requested that electrical chapter, electrical safety chapter, will take care of the many things. And we will not give the fire approval unless the electrical chartered electrical engineer or the empaneled electrical engineer has certified the systems there, electrical systems. Because as he rightly said, the electricity causes the many fires. There also in one of the Gopakumar's program I mentioned, is electricity a friend or an enemy? So I think it is a friend. Without electricity, we could not be having this kind of a video conference today. Sitting, one is in Kerala, one is in Bangalore, one is in somewhere, and I'm sitting in Pune today, not in Mumbai. So electricity is our uh, progress driver, and we have to respect it. Only thing, if we don't use it properly, there's a problem. For that, Suresh sir has taken a very nice call that there should be some collaboration or interdependence on the while giving the fire approval, and that we have welcomed that. So these are the few highlights. There's a time constraint as well, so I have not opened up my parallelly. I had a document to share with, but it will take a long time. But thank you, Dominic, once again for a nice ice breaking and making it beginning. I think every month we will have to have such kind of a conference, inviting different experts from different spheres and make our NBC 2025 as a torch bearer. You know, before closing, I wanted to again make one remark in the lighter vein. In the wildfire, there is a concept called as the counter fire. If we have to create a fire line when the jungle is on fire, we have to create a counter fire. So we look at Mr. V. Suresh as a counter fire. As long as that fire is kindling, I think nation will have a sigh of relief on fire protection. So much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Wonderful. You highlighted the major changes that is coming up in 2025, and you touched upon very important points. We have already got some 30 questions. Few suggestions I'm making for participants. Now, there are each person putting up 10 questions, 15 questions. That will not be possible for us to address. So you choose the best question that you would like to take it up. So reduce your questions, and there are a lot of questions coming in chat box. So in chat box, when you put a question, that will not
I've
go
seen
on
it.
record. So you have to use Q&A box to put your question because that will go on record. We may not take full questions here. We can take up your questions and collate everything and submit as our recommendation for outcome of this today's webinar. So your questions are important, but make sure that everybody get a chance. Every questions need to picked up. So limit your questions to one or two maximum. So I'll go to the next panelist, third panelist, and followed by that, I have two questions to each one of you. Then we will open up. So everybody knows Mr. Gopakumar is every Saturday, Friday, Saturday is on a webinar. Next week we are talking about part 8, which is just released in the midnight yesterday. So part 8 has been released for open
Part 8, section 2.
comment.
Part 8, section 2. Part 8, section
And section 2. So we will be doing a similar exercise next Saturday, but he's playing a major role. We've been talking about hospital fire in many webinars. I would like to welcome him and give his opening remarks. What role that you think that part 4 can play when it comes to electrical fire? Over to you, sir.
So thank you very much, Mr. Dominic. Thanks Suresh sir and Deshmukh sir for inviting me for this discussion. As all of you know, most of the cities in India, the claim is 70, 80, 60, 50% fires are due to electricity. or fire due to short circuit. Yesterday one happened, previous day, I think in Calcutta, 14 people died or passed away in a hotel fire. So thousands of people are getting affected because of electricity related fire. If you allow me, Mr. Dominic, I will share my screen.
Yes, sir.
Just to to explain the participants something which is interesting. When we talk about in electrotechnology, we don't talk about electrical fire or fire at all. We talk about the protection from thermal effect. The idea is during normal or abnormal operation of an electrical appliance or a wiring, once when the temperature goes beyond certain limit, the safety measures should work and it should ensure that the electricity is not heating up some of the components. So the correct way when it comes to electrical fire is protection from thermal effect. Now, how the international, for example, you are seeing this on the screen, IEC 603644444. It is actually the global standard made by IEC. Now, if you look at the fire standards made by ISO, whatever the information in this IEC has been aligned to the fire safety standards of ISO. I would like to take you to this clause 442.2. What happens is here, condition of evacuation in an emergency. The idea is, in case of fire, people should, first of all, electricity should not create thermal effect. That means the chance of ignition of fire is nil. Second, in catches fire, then what kind of performances are required so that electricity is not further creating problem and people can be evacuated. Now, actually, this globally all over the world, wherever IEC and ISO standards are used, the buildings are classified into these 4 categories: BD 2, 3, 4. And now, if you see the note under this, authorities responsible for building construction, public gathering, fire prevention may specify which BD condition is applicable. The idea is, it is not the job of the electrical engineer to classify a building. It is the job of the electrical engineer to tell that, okay, this is this classification building, what kind of safety, electrical safety measures or thermal effect measures are required. Now the same concept has been included in our IS 732 condition of evacuation. You can find the authorities responsible for building classification. Now, for example, what happens is, in the current draft, we are probably in this particular version of NBC, if we can include such innovative thing. It's not innovative information. These are there practiced in IEC and ISO for the last probably 20-30 years. But still, this is not a part of NBC, which is, in fact, I would say very, very important information, because buildings are classified. Now the electrical standards tells you that, okay, dash building, for example, a hospital coming under BD4, what kind of installation is required, what kind of wires, what kind of light fittings, what kind of panels, and so on. So this is probably an area where we can improve in the current NBC. Similarly, when we talk about the electrical part as well as the fire part, sometimes, the electrical, it's actually a complex subject. It is, we cannot say that you write one line or put one device and the whole electrical safety is ensured. I would just like to show you from the draft, one of the part. Electrical MV distribution panel and lift panels shall have carbon dioxide inert gas flooding system for all panel compartment with cylinder located beside the panel. Now what happens is, some of the petrol pumps, if we go, there is a small MCB DB, and near to the MCB DB, there are 2 carbon dioxide, the gas tanks, and then there is a pipe fitting, sensors, and other things provided for a small MCB DB. Of course, what happens is, now the second point is, every electrical panel has got a forced ventilation, means there is a fan to create air circulation. Now, you cannot really flood in an electrical panel with carbon dioxide, because then are you talking about a sealed panel? If it's a sealed panel, how the temperature goes out, it's against the concept of thermal effect. So basically, these are the areas where we can improve, a lot. So basically, when it comes to, for example, the verification, there is a very serious part in the National Electrical Code last year, 2023, which we included Part 1, Section 17, with a lot of requirements about testing and inspection of electrical inspection. Unfortunately, what document is in the draft. Both these in the electrical part, this has missed. Actually, if we say there can be a lot of things for still improvement. Of course, as Suresh sir told, this is still, next few more, 1 or 2 more months we will be discussing, and we can improve. Of course, there is a lot of things to improve. And if these documents are made perfect according to the recommendations of IEC, ISO, ignition of fire from electricity can be avoided in majority of the cases. There is no chance of fire at all. So 70% fire which is happening probably in one of the city, it can be reduced to 7% from fire due to short circuit. And this would be the way, we have to look for future. Probably maybe in next 10 years, 15 years, we will be able to reach, provided we make, the documents pakka. This is the only subject point I wanted to tell you. Thank you very much, Mr. Dominic. You are on mute.
Yeah.
Mr. Dominic, you are on.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. And I know you have a lot more to play in the part 8, which is coming up next week. And we can pick up some of the points from part 4 also for next Saturday's discussion. And thank for highlighting of some of the gray areas in the standard that has come. I'm sure this can be given as a recommendation and comment from NFE. So what I'll do is I have few questions that is being prepared based on the question that I received when we announced this webinar. Then I give it leave it open for the audience to discuss. I'll take up. I had 2 questions. I'll take up one question for each panelist. I'll start with Mr. Suresh. What mechanism are being considered to ensure meaningful stakeholder participation and timely implementation once the code is released? So that is the biggest challenge. I know you told me that all DGs met together. That is one part of the fire departments. What about other consultants, another thing? So what kind of timely implementation of these codes going to be, implemented? So can you highlight on that, sir?
Yeah, very, very detailed we can do that. The very fact today, the document has gone on wide circulation to 25,000 people all over the country. It is not the committee members, which is a drafting committee or the advisory committee or the 1,300 committee members in the NBC. It has gone to 25,000 stakeholders all over the country. This document has now gone on wide circulation for eliciting comment. There cannot be a larger public participation of getting the best possible views on that. Not only constitution departments at the center, the state and local level, and the regulatory authorities at the city level, corporation, municipality, and also all the more important, the state fire chiefs. All of them, incidentally, most of them are already participating here. You'll be very happy to know that in your participant list over there, most of the state fire chiefs are already there. As I told, the presentation that was made about 2 weeks back, the State Fire Advisory Committee of the Government of India, where all the state fire chiefs were there. They are very eager, looking forward to the 2025 version, because all of them, all the states are by and large making use of the provisions not as a guiding document, as a mandatory document which they use for reference purposes. And therefore, whatever we include over there has got to be very realistic requirement. It cannot deal with a requirement of one city with problem of a 200-story building, a 100-story building, and that is not India all alone. So India has got as many number of 7 or 8 mega cities there, over 50 lakhs population, 20 to 50 lakhs population. So depending upon the capacity of the local fire brigade and the nature of development also will come there. And therefore, we have tried to take the information to a large one. Number 2, the most important component that will going to happen is the moment the building code is printed document comes over there, it's expected that the National Building Code 2025 with all the 12 parts and 21 sections together, it will come in the month of September 2025. And what document you're seeing over there just now, that will all get finalized by June. Maybe, so you have a total month of May and available for your comments. Your last date for comments is the 26th of May. Please give all your comments in the best possible way. that will be looked after by the National Building Code committees at the appropriate level to see how much can be, some will be for adding some area, or some will be for clarifying, some will be to amend the requirement, some will be to put something which has not been covered, like I can see from the chat box as well as question box. Some of the questions just come there. Clarity will come on that. And therefore, the adoption by the local bodies become an important component. So the local self-government department already in the building bylaws and development control rules have already made it mandatory with one line saying that fire protection of buildings shall be in line with Part 4 Fire Protection National Building Code. That's all. That means all the contents that you see in this 236-page document becomes a mandatory document. Even though NBC by itself is not a mandatory document, it is a guiding, recommendatory document, guiding document. It becomes mandatory because it finds a place in the building bylaws, development control rules, and building regulation. And also, more importantly, thanks to good initiative taken over a decade and a half by Deshmukh ji, which is followed by all other states under the Fire Act and all that, they already have made this as a regulatory requirement of compliance purposes. So therefore, there cannot be any larger participation than this particular thing, and a series of a very fact that the moment the white circulation has come, we are now opened out the particular thing, get more comments on that. While independently, all these 25,000 people give comments to the BIS, what they feel change needed, etc. Even this will identify, generate a lot of ideas and all that. And all the concerned professional bodies, like for example, the Fire Safe India Foundation or the NFE or the focus group, all those people and the fire FSAI, other related organization, institution of fire engineers, they're already circulating it to all their particular one. The Standing Fire Advisory Committee itself, I understand, for the Government of India has circulated this document, which is already under circular, to all the state fire chiefs to give their best possible inputs on that. And on the qualification related one, this is a special requirement that was required. Deshmukh Sahib rightly brought out a concern area. Large number of people who have already finished their service program, because at that point of time it was not there. Now, today when it is required, whatever changes are required to take care of present practicing professional in the amendment that we can, that will come as a comment there, we'll incorporate that also very much into the document there. Not an issue. This exactly is the right time for you, like a sounding board. We are trying to get the best possible inputs coming on that. So therefore, those practicing professionals and authority in various not only departments, also in the industry, dealing as a fire protection professionals, they are working with qualification not necessarily of the degree that's identified or equivalent to that particular thing. We can easily. That's exactly how it's a very democratic document with a consultation process over there. So your question was to see how well we do that. And I think we reasonably do that the best possible way to give opportunity to everybody that matters in that to get their point of view here in the. And it's an equally an important component. The state fire service is an important component there. Some of the state fire service has got very high level of professional. They are very good firefighting capabilities, but as fire engineers, there could be a little problem on that. So therefore, you got to make a combination of both these particular things coming over there. I think I'll stop here. There'll be many questions. I'm looking at the watch also. We are getting. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. The question to Mr. Deshmukh, sir, the very important question, and you have been advocating about the frequent fire audit. So the question is, what are the key challenges in enforcing periodic fire audit as per NBC 2025? How can you build accountability among the facility managers, building owners, and authorities? Question to you, sir.
You have to unmute.
Deshmukh, sir.
I'm sorry.
You have to,
See, in the code, we are trying to introduce the fire audit as a concept. In Maharashtra, we started with the operating order during my time, and we made it voluntary that any building owner or the occupier, they want to get the building audited from home. And the amendment was moved, and thanks to my colleague, Mr. Santosh Warik, he has been able to get that amendment done in the Maharashtra Act. On the similar analogy, we will be incorporating that in the National Building Code as well. So periodical audit, the major challenge what Suresh sir said, there is a limitation in terms of the well qualified people, and if the country is handed over to a handful people, there could be a problem. So the Suresh sir is also working on that. So combination of both and how to do it. So fire audit, yes, we are making it mandatory. Through mandatory, we are making recommending in the National Building Code, and a respective state will have to make it mandatory.
Until the code, to clarify that in the NBC Part II periodic occupancy renewal for fire,
Exactly.
yeah, those buildings which are identified clearly, not all buildings, on which Deshmukh Saab made a mention that was not coming in the scope. That clarification will come on that. And periodic inspections every 3 years of building shall be made by fire authority to ensure fire safety or building in compliance for fire and life safety requirements of safekeep, and fire audit should be done for that. Electrical audit in that particular document we have put as far as that one is concerned. Part 6, structural design gives structural audit on structure. That requires a longer time period. So these are very, very important components which will also lead to, more importantly, is called the annual renewal, periodic renewal certificate. If you've got a building permit there, after this fire audit and the electrical audit, if you require changes happening, then any particular thing, the renewal has got to do. How do you do the renewal of the building permit for already occupant certificate is there, is also identified. Everybody in the group should understand, the day a building plan is approved, if the day building is completed, the day we give an occupancy certificate, you should understand that the building does not have any person. It's an inanimate, three-dimensional space of length, breadth, and height of the building of so many stories there. Now, when the occupancy starts coming over there, each one is going to add on in the residential building, the furniture, the furnishing, the carpets, the tapestry, the curtains, all the other one which is all adding to the fire load. Now, this is the most important aspect. That means the one which you have approved over there based on broad understanding of this will be a residential, a commercial. I expect so much on the fire load to come. But what exactly has happened over there, the paneling done for interiors, that has not gone through a process. It is all done by each individual people. Office, they take a 50,000 square feet of office space. They subdivide that particular thing and provide all the interior spaces there. Now, that does not go through a process of... so you will find suddenly that the very same exits that we have planned originally, they are all blocked in this particular thing by the subdivision process. So that is why this renewal certificate component has been brought in, linked with the electrical audit as well as the fire audit. Okay, just clarify.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Deshmukh sir, for answering the question regarding to fire audit. I'll move to Mr. Gopkumar. How critical is it to integrate fire-rated electrical infrastructure, cable routing, and maintenance protocols into overall fire strategy of a building? So, how do you can you answer to this question, sir?
Yeah.
How
Thank
critical?
you, sir. Thank you, sir. Am I audible? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. See,
Go
it's
ahead,
a very important subject, especially large buildings, especially buildings with where the height is more, where the cables are running from top to bottom, because this the insulation or this plastic, which is the insulation of the wire, can become it's like a fuel which carries the fire very quickly from top to bottom of a building. So the relevant safety measures are already there. For example, how to route the cable, how to seal the penetrations, what kind of materials you should use, and what kind of fixing materials are required. And all these are very well in the document. But the most important is it should be implemented and it should be verified. Implementation and verification is the area, I would say, where improvement is necessary, because sometimes, we read the document, we read one document, one line, and based on the line, we try to do something, but it may not be fully, complied with. This is, very important. Number two, when it comes to electrical safety, especially we do electrical audit. But unfortunately, here I'm against the word audit, because audit is not the word which is used in any of the standards. Audit means it's a sampling process. you have probably 1000 points to check, and audit means you check 10 points and leave the balance thinking that everything is pakka. So the word used is verification. We should, everybody, we should start using the word verification, which consists of, the definition of verification is thorough inspection and testing of each and every part of your electrical or whatever, your installation. The same word is also used for fire in ISO. So when it comes to implementation of verification, or let's say in simple way, electrical safety audit, currently what we do is mostly the thermography. Unfortunately, this is not recognized as an electrical safety measure for a building. Thermography is, I would repeat, thermography is not recognized as an electrical safety measure in the IEC and ISO standards. Unfortunately, in India, chemical department has made a standard for thermography of electrical installation, which itself is actually wrong. Number two, the second verification which is carried out, or safety audit which is carried out, is the earth pit resistance measurement. Actually, both are removed, both are not there in the standard. So basically what we are doing is not the correct way. Now what is there? In NEC National Electrical Code Part 1 Section 17, we included a detailed format, detailed requirements of verification, including testing, inspection, and so on. Now who will implement it in a building is the biggest question, because state government has got their own notified voltage. Above notified voltage, it is the government inspectorate department should do. Below notified voltage, it is the chartered electrical safety engineer. The chartered electrical safety engineer has been made as a provision in the regulation during 2015. But until now, chartered electrical safety engineers are yet to be implemented, I would say. Probably in Maharashtra, maybe there are maybe 10 chartered safety engineer for the whole state to verify buildings, including houses. So basically, there is no adequate people to do. There is no, the methods which is followed for electrical verification is often, decade old things. There is a lot of chance for, there is a lot of scope for improvement with respect to the electrical requirements. Of course, the most important as far as for the participants are concerned, please note that the documents are for public comments now. This is the golden opportunity for you to read the document and comment. Whatever the comments you have, the committee will be discussing, and we can actually improve the document to a much better level so that the entire nation is benefited. So with respect to the question, I would say, yes, the subject of routing cables, sealing the penetrations are very important, but people should implement it in a good way without looking into the price part of always. When it comes to electricity, it is the last subject considered in a building, and this is the subject where people try to reduce the cost as much as possible. As a result, even though we say class 2 wires are required, the copper used in the wire, house wiring, should be class 2 wire. But class 2 wire is unfortunately not available in the market. Only class 5 copper wires are there in the market because it's cheaper. It creates fire. So, fundamentally, there is, a lot of changes required with respect to electrical installation. Thank you, Mr. Dominic. I hope
So you're saying a lot of fundamental changes required when it comes to verification or audit. In fire, we still say audit. In electrical, you're saying it's verification. There are a lot of fundamental changes are required, and qualification, and who's authorized to do this verification and audit. So there are a lot of questions that need to be answered. So over to Mr. Deshmukh. There are two fundamental. There are, I think, Abhishek Chabra is there. A lot of team from passive fire industry also there. How much importance have you given in 2025 with regard to passive fire protection? Active is what we see in most of it. How much importance are you giving in for passive protection?
We have given a good importance to the passive fire protection as far as the rating, the compartmentation, and of course, for the compartmentation, whatever the aids are required, all those things are taken into consideration. The smoke management part is also linked into this. So most of the things we have covered, and we will be having a better independent standard on different products of the passive fire protection.
Thank you. So what I'll take up the questions now. We have exactly 30 minutes to go. I will take Prasanna Kumar has given very, very important questions. There are around 7, but I'll just pick up one. But your question will be forwarded to the panelist and also chairman of NBC
Yes, really good. 6
to
or
take
7
it up.
questions. Yes,
Yeah,
7
6 to 7,
questions
but
are raised.
very, very important. But I'll take up one very important question that is raised by Prasanna. In compartmentation section, basement with parking compartmentation has been struck down. Does it mean no need of fire compartmentation for every 3,000 square meter? Over to Deshmukh sir or Suresh.
Yes, yes, he is right. What he is reading is absolutely right, which I mentioned in my basic introduction and the highlights of the specific topics. So it really forms very cumbersome. And to do that kind of a water compartmentation, the amount of water required, the functionality, it is not practical. So we have removed it on the basis of the international standards course and even the international practices. We have just prescribed for the sprinklers.
Continuing to that question, is asked for naturally ventilated buildings, what is the criteria for compartmentation? It is not specified in NBC Part IV. For MLCP, it is mentioned that fire compartmentation is not required. But what about the naturally ventilated academic blocks, naturally ventilated hospitals areas?
See, where the floor height is much higher, based on the CFD analysis, we have increased the travel distance. But the compartmentation as such, you cannot abruptly remove. Only for the basement and the warehousing, we have taken a call.
Okay, okay. So I'll go to Rajesh Sabadra. Hope Deshmukh sir also is aware. He is suggesting that we would request you to include condensed aerosol, non-pressurized generator from page 110 onwards in the draft circulation for electrical panel and transformer, VESS and many such area. So he's recommending to include on that. So it is a suggestion that he has made. So I don't know whether we need to answer to that.
Okay. Gop can do that. Electrical, all about electrical.
No,
Yeah.
it's about electrical. What was the question, sir?
On the firefighting for installation.
He's saying in the page 110 onwards, he's talking about electrical protection. He's saying we would request to include condensed aerosol, non-pressurized generator in the draft. So his recommendations are given here.
No,
So
he can, Dominic, whatever such suggestions are there, people can send those suggestions in our draft, which is under wide circulation. So I don't think this is the appropriate forum to directly commit anything or address anything. I hope
Rajesh,
Suresh also agrees.
Yeah. So we have those who want the draft. I have a copy and I can circulate. There's a email ID which is mentioned in the chat box. I can
please
give you
the link. You can share the link. Kindly, many people ask for a copy of that. Please share the link of the NBC. All documents you can access from that. All the the Part 4 fire protection plus also all the remaining 12 parts and 21 sections can be accessed from that particular link on that. Please share that so that will be an answer to many people who want to have a copy of that. Okay.
Yes, we will share the link and also there is a format for commenting. If you can write to us, you can use that format and give it to us, or you can directly communicate to BIS on that. So I'll go to Rishabh Shah. In NBC, lift lobby and staircase preservation is mentioned. So is preservation required for regular lift or fire lift or a lift well? What is it? Should I read once again, sir?
You are asking me, Dominic? You are asking me or Suresh sir?
Well, I would say Suresh sir can add. I'll read out again.
It's required. Pressurization of the lift lobby is a very, very important requirement, and that has been brought in over there for heights of buildings there. And we have identified in various situations how we can take care of that. That whole clause has been very well drafted now. The answer is yes.
Sir, in many questions on table 7, water tank and pump capacity is not mentioned. So why is that? Sir, over to
You
Deshmukh,
like
sir.
Deshmukh,
Yeah.
sir?
See,
Water
what
tank-
we have done in the table 7, we are trying to give the cross reference of the relevant IS standard. Now the question is pending. If I have prescribed for the sprinklers also and the hose reels and the fire wet riser, everything, then I have to go for the water requirement for each of these. So that job is pending, and we will be putting that, I mean the cumulative water requirement, cumulative and optimum water requirement. So you will get it.
Okay. Again, Rishabh is asking, should we use CPVC continue to be recommended for sprinkler system in low hazard?
Answer is yes.
Yeah. See, most of the answers are there in the draft. I think there are a lot of recommendation in the question that is coming, suggestions are coming. Please follow that standard protocol of commenting in a particular manner. I will not take up, I'll not take up all the questions here. Mohammed is
You can take
asking,
as many. We have still time available. You have got 15
Yeah.
minutes or even more. I am ready to sit
Yes, sir.
slightly beyond also. If more questions are there, we'll be happy to take it.
I will take up one question which is I find it interesting from Mohammed Thasin. Is smoke control system required for all the building or a specific building? Please suggestion.
What is the question? Sorry?
Is smoke control system required for all buildings?
Yes. Yes. That's the most important one. Most of the people die of smoke than fire, not by getting burnt. All the deaths that's happening, 85% of all the deaths happening in a fire is primarily because of the asphyxiation and the smoke. So we are able to take a smoke control. In fact, smoke control and management is a very, very major aspect of the NBC provision, and that has been covered in detail, not only in this particular part of Part 4, plus in ventilation one in Part 8, Section 3, where you have the spaces for mechanical ventilation. We have really brought out some of those particular things where all we need to do it. But the fact of the matter is smoke control is a very, very important aspect applicable for the building. Kindly go through the clause, and if you think any particular clause is standing in the way, if you're talking a very small building, that is where the applicability comes. I think this question has got to be answered with respect to the point Deshmukh raised over there. You know, in the standard part, which are all the building will get covered, etc., beyond a certain height, beyond certain area, some of the other occupants, even lower heights, those details, school, hospitals, those details are the one applicability clause. So wherever that applicability clause comes, these requirements will be there. That's the answer. Okay?
So this question is for Mr. Deshmukh, sir. You can read from Manoj Kumar. I will read very slowly. Very important question. Is it recommended to fire seal the LV shaft, which is communication, rainwater shaft, chill water shaft on each floor, which is horizontal sealed, and fire rated windows were not exposed to ignite the internal smoke of fire? I understand electrical and plumbing shaft must be sealed vertically and horizontally. Is it right?
See, these all goes through the shaft, and what is asking is right. The shaft will have the fire door on that particular floor. Otherwise, how you will carry out the maintenance of the system by entirely sealing? And when it is a horizontal, those slabs through which these pipes cross, that has to be sealed. That is right, and that is there in the existing code as well.
Okay. Okay. So Jatin Shah is asking from Focus, what is the limit to number of extinguisher or hydrant called out in NBC for one set pump, one sprinkler pump, one DG pump, two electrical pump? Basically, can multiple towers have just one set of pump? Question to Mr. Deshmukh.
See, we are asking for the one pump, one standby pump, but if we are asking for two separate pumps for sprinkler system and a wet riser system, we are asking only one extra standby pump, 50% standby, you can call it a DG pump. And also for the low hazard buildings or the low hazard occupancies, we are considering the alternative source of power. If it is a reliable source of power, maybe the proper circuit made through the DG set, etc. That also we are considering. And third thing, here in a high hazard building, it is very difficult to consider the alternative source of power. The pump is more reliable. At the same time, we are giving now the alternative of the gravity fed system, which we have studied globally, and we have come to the conclusion that is one of the best system and most reliable system. We have already done some experiments in India. So that could be the other alternative where you don't have to have multiple alternatives. You don't have to depend on the pump. One-time cost of taking the dead weight water storage on the top of the building. There is a major cost, but that also after 3 or 4 years of the building life, you get a power, I mean the payback on that investment, and it is the most reliable maintenance-free system. I mean the low maintenance. Maintenance-free is nothing, but low maintenance system.
So Jatin is asking more clarity in NBC with regard to lift lobby. He's asking, is it mandatory to have lift lobby also pressurized, and for this fire door have been mandatory for lift?
I think it's already clarified. Same question you asked a few minutes back. I already replied that. It's
Okay,
already replied.
okay.
Same question is replied.
Okay, sir. So, sir, which license required for storing 2000 liter? No, this is not.
It is not a relevant question here.
Yeah,
Not
hard question.
such type of that they can always inquire specifically. Let's bring the larger issue in that. There's some good question which I find over there about hospital building. Very important query. Of course, he doesn't identify the name. He says an anonymous participant. He doesn't put his name. I have no problem. It's very clear. National Building Code earlier had a provision for hospital building or institutional building for heights up to 30 meters. But the 2016 version, that has already been expanded to cover up to 45 meters. That means you can have a hospital building up to 45 meters coming, but the critical area where the movement of the patients and operations are very restricted, like operation theater, ICU, and all the other wards which require critical care, delivery rooms, children's care, etc., that should be in the lower 30 meters height. And other particular activities where people are able-bodied, people are there, your investigation laboratory or OPD related work, they can be the higher height. There has been a request to increase that 45 meters also to possibly 60 meters. There have been a lot of people considering this as a thing that they'll take care of all the fire safety requirements that's required. But the most important aspect that comes over is the patients whose movements are restricted, either they are in a semi-conscious state, or they are in a coma state, or they are not able-bodied, their feet and other movements are good. So therefore, that particular critical has got to be in the heights where still you will be able to control. You can't put them in such higher heights there. There's a reason behind that particular one. And all over the world, the hospital buildings where all these critical activities or healthcare activities are there, they've always been kept in lower heights. Don't treat it as a real estate proposition and therefore permit a hospital to come to a higher height, because it's a very profitable thing to do it. There's a lot of pressure. I think Mr. Deshmukh already hinted that in the beginning, but he also said he has kept a practical views of the thing, and for the time we have kept 45 meters. Please give that. There are some presentations which also come at the highest level in the country. So bringing it up to 40 meters by many private sector medical corporate entities that they can do that, whatever. So therefore, these are issues, because there's a question directly coming on that, namely on the, the hospital building. I just thought, if you did not raise the question, I'm going through all the questions I've raised on my own. Okay?
Can I add something more here, sir? Can I add something?
Please go ahead.
You see, most of the accidents with respect to fire in medical locations are from electricity. A lot of accidents are happening. And only maybe out of 100, only one or two is known outside, because most of them are, minor nature. So it's not discussed outside. Now, what is missing in all our documents is electric the hospital locations, there the intensity of the amount of oxygen is much more. So which we call as, oxygen rich areas, as well as the amount of spirit is much more. And in group 2 location, additional measures are required. Now what happens is, these group 1 and 2 locations need additional safety measures. Probably it's a good idea to include this information in NBC, especially in the fire part, which will give more importance, or which will give, more it's easy for the readers to understand, especially then they can immediately say that, okay, there are 3 classifications and these are the additional safety measures required in these locations. So that's easy. Just an improvement probably possible, sir.
I
Professor, your
entirely agree with
internet,
Gopal.
your network is very bad. So there are a lot of breaks.
1 minute. I entirely agree with Gopakumar. Is an important point that he has raised. He also referred to the BD 2, 3, and 4. We can bring it appropriately, where the movements of the people are restricted, of anybody activities are restricted because of physical condition, age, too young or too old, geriatric. And very important, we can do that. Possibly the table 7C is one area you can bring in, and again you can bring it under the appendix, the provisions dealing with the institutional building where hospitals are and healthcare buildings are covering. We can open out. Thank you very much for that input, not only to the commentator. There's another question I find. He has got more than 15 meters height, but less than 500 square meter. Will it apply? Obviously, it will apply, because the height is more, and therefore it will apply on that. He's talking the area is less than 500, but height is more than 15 meters. So will it apply is a question that's being asked. So the answer is yes. Go ahead. I'm trying to cover more questions. That's all. You're muted, Dominic. You're muted. Hello.
Sorry, sir.
Better.
Sir, sir, there's a recommendation to add water calculation as per the fire load and the area of the building. Is it possible to add that?
See, it is very difficult, because the fire load calculation purpose, the global practice is this: every product is certified. Say you put the water curtain, what Suresh sir said, you put the carpets, you put any particular furniture items, they have everything is standardized and certified by the manufacturers. Manufacturers means in turn it is regulated by the concerned authority. Now on that basis, like you have a product, like say the Coke, you have the how many calories, what ingredients, everything. Similarly, the fire load, everything is prescribed on their products. But together we can have the cumulative fire load, right? Here we are rationalizing that because of the certain limitations, and there is a method to calculate the fire load. You can do sampling and all that, and you can do that, but it is a very tedious process. On that basis, to calculate the water requirement will be too tedious. Our code has to be simple also for implementation. Sorry. So that is something very difficult approach to do that.
And also structure should be ready to accommodate.
So many things, building material used, so many things are there.
So Prakash Kamath is very good when a question is asked referring to the draft. He says, in case of high-rise building 90 meters and above, with split storage of fire water tanks, page number 164, is 1 lakh liter considered adequate, or refilling from tank below is required. If required, then 50 filling line is inadequate. So he's saying that inadequate, that is so. Yeah. Sir, sir, over to you.
To whom?
Feel
that water tank 50 mm is not adequate, number one. Number two, for replenishment, we will require the proper hydraulic calculation. Maybe the 100 mm could be required. But Initial 1 lakh liter that you will get, it is from the static tank, which you will get by gravity. And below certain floors, say 10 floors or 8 floors, you will get so much pressure that you will have to use either the pressure control valves or the orifice plate. So why unnecessary go against the gravity and do that? Keep it a static on each level and use it. And once you are using, say, below that height, then obviously you have the available stock on the upper height of the another overhead tank, which also will help to fill up by the gravity. So, and parallelly, yes, we have to use the utility system to see that your water tanks are replenished with the adequate water.
What is the question Milind Dhumal has raised? Is
Sir,
again saying,
Kulwant Singh is, it's nice. What is NBC? What is really NBC? Is it a rule book or a guidebook?
See,
don't use
it is basically a guiding document. But let me make it clear that most of the states where they have passed the legislation, you will always see that there is some reference of the Part 4 of the National Building Code. Particularly Part 4 in many states that has become almost like a mandatory, with some notwithstanding to the local provisions and all that they prescribe. So it's okay, but still that becomes a mandatory. Second thing, there are n number of case laws on school fires, AMRI, hospital fire, there are a number of case laws. Once there is a Supreme Court or High Court judgments, it becomes a substantive law, and by virtue of that also it becomes mandatory. And most of the states have decided to adopt it, as whereas the safety is concerned. It could be electrical safety, fire safety. Most of the states have started adopting it. So as a document, yes, it is a principal document on the basis of. Even you go to America and whatever we call as NFPA 101, etc., it is not necessary that all the 50 states of America have implemented the NFPA 101. Every state has a legislative powers and every state, and in fact, they have three-tier government. And their municipalities have powers to make laws. So they make it customized way, suiting to their requirements. But by and large, this is a document, this is like a Bible of our whole building systems, building envelopes from A to Z.
yeah, yeah.
Sir,
Not only
yes, sir, I want to this.
Sir, with respect to electrical installation, the Central Electricity Authority, the Electricity Act and the Central Electricity Safety Regulations say NBC shall be followed. So the electrical part is in fact a must to be followed all over the country.
mandatory already. Mandatory. I want to just open up with one statement, very important, Dominic sir. All the building regulations and the development controls of all states, either state level or municipal corporation level or municipality level. Sometimes our corporations want city municipalities and town municipalities. In Kerala, you got the Kerala Municipal Building Rules, Panchayat Building Rules. In all of them, as well as Part 4, Part 6, Structural Design, and 8 parts, Section 8 on building services, as he said, electrical, etc., and plumbing services are already made mandatory. They only write one line. The fire protection of building shall be in line with Part 4 Fire Protection National Building Code. Full stop. Structural design of building for structural safety shall be in line with Part 6, Structural is Section 1 to 8. Building services, Section 1 to 6. Water supply, sanitation, and sewerage, and all that in line with Part 9. They don't cover anything in the building rules. For them, the NBC is the reference document or the basic document available on that. But still, I said it is not a mandatory document. It is a guiding document. It is a recommendatory document. But everybody in the industry, including practice in the private sector, large number of builders and developers, they use the international codes for structural or fire, etc. Like Saab mentioned, NFPA. Still, the NBC is always taken as the standard reference point. That is why the document is continuously being upgraded. It came in 70, came in 83, 2022 years, it didn't change, 2005, 2016. Now you'll have the 2025 document. This will be there at least for the next 10, 15 years time period. So it's a very, very important document that will take care of all the construction in a large way. I just thought I'll tell that.
Sir, very important question. Yeah, very important question. Neeraj Nair is raised when it comes to pacifier. Before that, I would request Gopal sir, if you have the link which I shared. I'm using a desktop which I'm limited access to this thing because my laptop had a problem. So if the link of the Part 4 is with you, can you put it on the chat box so that people can download. A lot of requests
and
for
also for Part 8
Yes.
Section 2. And also Part 8 Section 2 also.
It's
even
already,
Part 8.
the entire link is already sent 2 times. I will send it again.
Yeah, that a
Thank
lot of people still asking for the link. Both Part 8 also we can. Sir, Neeraj, this is Deshmukh, sir. Neeraj is from pacifier industry. In the draft, there is no reference provided to Indian standard for the pacifier protection in curtain wall system and through penetration or a fiber applications. How the architect or a consultant going to refer testing standard or performance parameters while addressing these applications as compartmentation topic? Very important.
Discuss this issue, and I would request you to give your suggestion on the wide circulated draft.
Okay, Neeraj, please put that in the comment section in the draft. I hope you have, or Mr. Gopakumar is sharing the link to download. Please download and share that. We'll take it up further. So, Kumar, is a lot of question asking about the water curtain. You already answered, but again, I would like those people who have joined later. On what basis water curtain, which was there in 26 is now same is removed. A single clause costs lot of money and expenditure and water storage, water wastage. Yeah.
As I already told that it is not a very practical way of having the water curtains or any other curtain in the basements of warehouses, and therefore we have curtailed that we have reduced down, and we have referred to many international documents also and taken a call. But still, if you think that it should be there, you give a suggestion in the draft which is under wide circulation.
Yeah. And I have given my opening statement also that this particular clause has been reviewed, we applied our mind. Water curtain requirement, basement waterproofing has been reviewed and deleted. And I'm aware, I myself, in the earlier version, 1983 version, we had that many buildings used to have the water curtain as an important one. But if you got much better solution with less amount of that water curtain requirements, which are more efficient in performance, than that is required. That's why it has been deleted. Okay.
Wonderful. We have another 75 questions. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not practical for me. Then, we need to have a full
But
day
you can
webinar.
share. You can
In
share.
webinar, what happens is you have no eye contact with the audience. We don't know how many listening, how many are just switched on and working on something. Suddenly they hear. So it's very difficult to do a full day virtual, even for 2 hours. The maximum eye contact or listening we can have in webinar is 45 minutes to 1 hour. We have done 1 hour 36 minutes, which I feel it's a good amount that we have spent and valuable. The extremely respected chairman. Yes, sir. You want to?
There have been a good comment on metro since the new 2 chapters on metro has been there in appendix. There have been a series of questions which are coming. Maybe because you're going periodically with, I am going to the end questions earlier. That's why I'm able to pick up those areas.
You can take it up.
By the time you come to that, it will take maybe second round or third round of conference. You do for the beginning, I go on for the large number of comments which has come on that. And there's a height requirements for the commercial building there of mercantile building 30 meters. We have put over there 100 feet. But larger metros are there with higher heights level there. And they also want some amount of mercantile activities or shopping facilities to be done, etc. Can we include that? I think that clarification will be able to add that. There's also a good one which has come from Abhishek Jabra, and those who want guidance in respect of the passive fire design. How do you deal with that and compartmentation to be done with passive fire or compartmentation using? There are large number of guiding facilities available. He has shared that particular thing where you can access that for complimentary access for information is also he has made. Thank you, Abhishek. Thank you, Abhijit, for that. Abhishek, for that useful offer that you have given just now on the chat box.
Yeah, that in chat box we can see the download.
Can you share all the comments which has come on each one of the clause? But kindly share that with Arun Kumar.
Yes, sir. Due to limitation of time, I have 81. Now it is increased. The questions have drastically increased. Now we have 81. And all the questions are important, and very respected people like Abhishek Chabra, Appavu sir from NFE, very senior people are commenting and suggesting. I will take it up with Mr. Suresh and Mr. Deshmukh and Mr. Arun from BIS.
Yeah, you
Submit.
kindly share the
I
Arun
would be
Kumar.
very
Arun
happy.
will,
Yeah, I would be
yeah.
very happy if you can download. There is a comment section and referring page and all that, and that will make more simpler, more quicker for referring. So I would urge you to download and comment. And if you're not possible, you can always forward me. I will take up all these questions, submit in a different form so that your questions are taken up, and I'm sure we'll discuss. And this is just the beginning of the discussion, open discussion. Okay, so there are few questions. When is going to be when is a new NBC going to come up? So Mr. Suresh sir has already told it is expected between September to October. So followed by that, we'll have series of seminars, physical interaction, all that we can do. But this is a series one, I would say, series one on these question answer panel discussion. We will have a continuous next Saturday. We are doing on part 4, section 2. Part 8, section 2. We'll be discussing.
Can I take one? Can I take a 1 minute? Can
Yes,
I take
sir.
1 minute? I find among all the area there is one observation which has come, because that's very disturbing, but it's an important aspect. He has spoken his mind. As builders and project developers really took 100% compliance for obtaining occupancy certificate or project completion, many a times is an eyewash, only on paper. And there's a gray area which hampers the actual safety after home buyers shift into the building. And I'm glad he has put that particular observation on the thing, because this is exactly the reason why the periodic renewal certificate comes. Because somehow or other at the level of occupancy certificate, something is created. But during the actual occupation of the building, 3 years or 4 years, 5 years, residential, commercial, other building, the whole character undergoes change over there. That is where the fire audit or verification report or whatever word or performance assessment report, whatever English language you can put, it's not our mother tongue. So we can put that particular one, whatever, if he is not happy with the word fire audit, or if he does not like the word electrical audit, you want a verification report. It's also very, and or a performance assessment report. To do it by whatever name you want to call. We want to know, it's like a CAT scan. Is the building okay? Why are you going at regular intervals to get your blood pressure, your sugar level, all that your parameters are okay or not? So building parameter functioning and non functioning data. As most of the time when fire takes place, the sprinklers don't work, the pumps don't work, water is not available in the tank over there. It's known to everybody. So that's why, and I'm very happy the gentleman says Manish. He's asking to all the panelists. He has raised his question and gone away. So he has told us an eyewash. And for him to make that statement, and he has put all builders, and there's a 100% compliance milta jata uske baad. So this is exactly the reason why in the latest version, part 2 of the National Building Code, the periodic renewal certificate has been brought into picture there. And the need for electrical audit and fire audit has been brought in. Structural audit for beyond 5 or 10 years, because it does not come so bad in terms of the structural performance or integrity of the building. Does not, unless you've done a bad building. So therefore, you brought the 3-year period there. And I'm happy. Thank you very much, Mr. Manish, on behalf of the panelists. I want to thank you for bringing out that we are not surprised. This is exactly what happens in many cases. We want to get out of that. As long as get some OC and be done with that. Architect gone, engineer gone, builder gone, everybody gone. Now, if the users can fight for themselves. No, that is where resident welfare associations, that's what he said. Many people buy the flats and go away. The things are not done. Or assets and facility management companies have got to do the compliance work. That's why part 12 is done. So I just thought this observation is very, very important for Mr. Manish. Thanks for that. I took more than 1 minute. I asked for it.
Oh, thank you, sir. As I said, there's so much of gray areas like periodic check or audit. Who can do it? Whether is that our fire officers or the department has the capability to do it? Do they have a manpower to do the periodic check? And are they knowledgeable to do that? So there is a huge human
I would request Deshmukh sir to open up. Deshmukh sir has done some good work in Mara. Let him tell first, third party, then I'll supplement it. Deshmukh sir. fire authorities have the capability?
Higher authorities' capabilities now to say something about my own profession is a big challenging. We were making an attempt to file a PIL on the deficiency of fire services, and we consulted one of the very senior Supreme Court retired judges. So he said even our judiciary also has a 70% deficiency. Then I had to shut my mouth. And so deficiency is there. And to fill that deficiency, we first made an attempt in Maharashtra, like your plumbing contractor or any other contract, electrical contractor. Can we introduce the concept called as a licensed fire contractor? To certain extent, it has worked. Number two, now even the auditors or anything you say, certification agencies, third party, unless they don't come under charter, the accountability it gets vanished. To earn money is easy, but taking responsibility is difficult. Third thing is, which I always say that not only the regulator is weak or in having some deficiencies, but even the responsible people, even the legislations are there. If you will hardly find any fire department or electrical department or any other factory department, they have done good number of tangible prosecutions. And overall as a judiciary, the conviction rate in India is just 2%. So if there is no deterrent, the question what Manish asked, will they comply with? So there is no deterrent. So only fire department or electrical inspection department or the factory department, it won't be sufficient. We were doing some activism as a students. So there were many judgments by the Supreme Court on the Environment Act. Finally, the 1986 Environment Act took birth. One gentleman by name Mr. Mehta, who was the pioneer of bringing all those PILs. But now the courts are also busy that they have no time to listen to all the PILs coming up to them. You will find it is a little a digression, but Government of India was kind enough to do the mapping of the whole nation, and they have come up with a very good report saying that there is 80% deficiency of the fire services, fire equipments, the manpower. But bridging the gap, instead of bridging the gap, we are trying to do this audit, your licensed fire contractors and these things. That may help to certain extent, but capacity building of the fire services is still required. And yes, people are working on it like Mr. Warik and all, and many other state chiefs. But yes, there is a deficiency.
Thank you so much, sir. In continuation of what Deshmukh sir was rightly said, because he is the one who done that in Maharashtra with the third-party audit, safety audits being done, and the qualifications of people also identified. So now you can understand the qualifications of people who can do that audit also should have knowledgeable in that particular area. So what we have put over there, fire professional, is not only in respect of the people who can do the design from fire safety point of view, coming under MEP, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, firefighting consultants. They are not the architect or structural engineer who do that. Even the MEPF firefighting one has to find out people with. So this qualification is equally applicable to those people who are going to design it in the building, implement it, and also occupy. Even the assets and facility management company who is going to deal with it, it will be applicable to them. And of course, also for the people who do the audit. When you do that fire audit, who are the people who can do the fire audit? So the qualifications for them also, this will be applicable for that particular point of view. And I'm very happy. There's a good question which has come from Deepak Rajput, which is very similar to what has been done. We have clarified this particular thing with the periodic updation that's coming on the particular thing. I'm sure the answer will be available, Rajputji, and I'm sure this periodic assessment of the what you call periodic renewal. Once OC is over, no further thing aisa nahi hai. There's somebody to keep watch on performance watch of the building from fire, from electrical, the electrical inspectorate, the fire authority. They may not have the capability. They can always outsource that. They can always get it done. After all, even the passport department has outsourced the whole thing to TCS to give you the passport. Come on. It's already done. It's outsourced to somebody else. who is giving it today, things are working. So we'll be able to get the facilities. Some people should be there. If not in the fire department or in the local fire brigade, their capacity is not there. Their limitation of that will be simultaneously going on. It's a process.
It's a
Suresh sir, 1 minute. Dominic, 1 minute. Last 1 minute, and then you can conclude. I know you want to conclude, but there has to be some lighter recipe. So at the end of the day, this outsourcing concept, my colleagues have been the witness right in front of my chief minister in a public program having 1,000+ audience plus majority of my fire professionals. I had mentioned, even for that time I was running 2 departments. One was the IT department, another fire department. So in IT department, I had only core 5-6 people on the payroll. Rest all was outsourced. The fire department outsourcing, one ex-police officer, he had thrown the idea. So I said, sir, even ultimately the outsourcing has to have some limitation. If we have the outsourcing to our bedrooms and kitchen, and then we expect the very nice children to call us with most affection as Papa and Mummy, that will not happen. So outsourcing also has to have a limitation. The country is getting ruined with too much of extrapolation because there's no accountability. The outsource agency, there's a limitation. The chartered outsourcing is something different, but then there has to be a limit. So any regulator sitting here, I will request them, just control your aspiration on the outsourcing. Thank you, Dominic. You can go ahead and close it. Even I am also struggling.
That can only happen. That can only happen, Deshmukh sir, when capacity building and capability building of the in-house team has got to plan from where they are to that level of understanding. So that where we're talking on that. Deal with the nature of challenges. The nature of challenge for a 100-story building, 80-story building, it is not the one.
Yes, sir. I agree with you.
Sir, coming, there are a lot of again, areas that we can continue to discuss. We can debate. As I said, even 12 hours of time will not be enough to argue and debate on the current the codes, infrastructure, population. It says every 50,000 people you need to have a fire station. Nowhere you can find that. You think that here fire station enough fire? No, but we have to keep fighting. As I said, we need to file a PIL. The public have to come together. What we need. Why are these associations like FSF are there? We need intellectual coming. We need people to come in. We don't have good PIL filing against not following the standards or building codes. Where are there? There's so much of debate we can continue to have. But good thing is we are moving forward with the code which has come up, and it's, as I said, democratically, asking people to comment. You tell us where we are making mistake or what addition that we have to make. So it's your responsibility. The audience who's attending the putting question, it's your responsible to put up your question, put your suggestion. Criticizing is the most easiest thing that we can do. That we don't have to pay for it. So, but when you have a chance to improve the system, please participate. That's what I would like to take away from today. Please participate.
Yeah, one more. Since large number of comments, which I saw that later, I've gone through all the chat box in the meanwhile. I suggest that now that already the link has already been shared over there, they can all get access to both Part 8, building Part 4, fire protection, Part 8, Section 2, electrical installation, already available. Your questions are available. So each one of the particular thing, kindly raise that particular thing and give it as a comment over there. This whole period ending 26th of May is a time up to which you have good time, around 2 to 3 weeks time period. If we are able to generate so much question only in the small little interaction period, you can do that. And a last one on to close, many people have raised over there regarding height of building, 15 meters or 24 meters. There is a unified development control rules. Some of the states have put 24 meters. Some of the states which has got capabilities of, they got firefighting brigade, they got the snorkel, hydraulic turntable available. They can fight fire up to 1. But that's not India. Come on, right? This is the National Building Code of India to cover the requirement of the whole thing. If you have the capability available to deal with that particular thing, it's a local facility that's come. But we feel that considering the situation for the whole country on facilities that also very rightly Deshmukh Saab has raised over there. He has used a very strong word, 80% deficiency word he used, even the firefighting brigade in the various fire stations over there. So it will take time. So you got to really give that one, because this question is important. Because many people are trying to put that, why you want me to do that? Somebody has put only more than 80 feet and they've only put in the condition. Why you want to put 15 meter? This has been discussed in very great detail. So I just thought clarification should be given so that we'll be able to, if a state or a local body tells that I have the thing is not enough, let them tell that. The responsibility taken by them, not by us. But nobody will do it. Take my word.
Can I add?
Mera Bharat Mahan.
Gopkumar wants to say something. Gopkumar wants to say something.
So Dominic, can I add one subject? I am not
Yeah.
switching my camera because I think the connectivity is not very good. You see, the subjects which we are talking, all participants, just for the information of participants, the subjects which we are talking is an engineering subject. It's not about one particular item or one particular thing. It's a combination of so many complicated engineering subjects. When it comes to sometime the users will have an idea that, okay, all my problems will go if I put example one X item. Something like that. When it comes to electricity, recently we found that there is somebody claiming that one device which offers multiple safety features. You put this device and forget about electricity. All your problems are taken care. The example is one IoT based device. NABL accredited device. So finally, we found that NABL has got nothing to do with this approval, and now they are taking actions against these labs. So be careful. Too much claims about the products. Engineering solutions should be engineered properly and implemented properly. There is nothing like one screwdriver can turn the whole problems into an opportunity. It is not like that. Thank you.
So Deshmukh was saying something, sir?
No, I am happy that you conducted this. One way is not enough. We'll have to continue as a series for this year.
Yes,
and
sir.
we'll cooperate with you. So with this, I think we can conclude, Mr. Dominic, with
Yes, sir.
whatever.
I want to have a concluding remarks. As I said, Mera Bharat Mahan, we are the only country probably giving this code for public domain to comment. If you look at other country, the bunch of people sit and finalize the draft, and the code is out. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. But at least here, we must appreciate the initiative of BIS asking for public, it's in public domain to comment, to make suggestion. We are fantastic in criticizing. There's a fire, you can see in the group, it's a chalta hai attitude. It's nice to criticize. But when you had an opportunity to comment, when you had an opportunity to suggest, you shy away. But when it comes to criticize, you come from the front. So take this as an opportunity to improve our nation, improve with your experience, your knowledge. You can do something. This is a golden opportunity for you to make a suggestion, make a comment. So please do participate in this nation building exercise. Whatever we are doing today, it is a very, very important, extremely important for our nation. It's not about fire industry at all. So you are participating in nation building. So I please download, go through the sentence by sentence, take your time, make your suggestion, make your comment. We will continue with our various series. You have seen that, and I'm sure like FSIF will start its own the courses for authorizing who could be the verifier, how to create a awareness. These team go and create an awareness. There's so much to do in this country. So please do join this exercise, and I want to thank once again our NBC chairman, Mr. Suresh, for sparing his valuable time, so busy, and Mr. Deshmukh sir, always wonderful to have him. Conversation with him always inspires me. And Gopakumar sir, we both working together for doing a lot of workshops. I want to thank all my friends today joining. And we had over 1,000, I have 1,160 people who have joined, today's conversation. I want to thank all of you for sparing this weekend with us. And we'll come back next Saturday on part 8, section 2 on electrical installation. We'll come back and we'll continue these questions. I'll consult with Deshmukh sir and Deshmukh whether we have series 2 focusing on certain chapters, certain section. We'll talk about only refuge area. We can have that. Height of the building can be discussed and wait. So we'll do that before the end of, we have 30 days to comment. We'll come back to you again. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Stay safe and we'll see you soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks to
Thank you,
all.
sir. Thank you. Thank you.